You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another episode of Takeshi Tuesdays. Once again, we'll be talking about one of Takeshi's movies, and once again, it's one of his directorial works. We'll be talking today about Outrage Coda, which is the final film in the Outrage trilogy, Takeshi's only true trilogy. Technically, he did do the surrealist autobiographical trilogy, but those weren't sequels and wasn't a trilogy in a sense, it was more just three thematically similar movies. Outrage Coda was released on September 5th, 2017, and runs for approximately 104 minutes, which again roughly translates to an hour and 44 minutes. Outrage Coda is a movie that Takeshi himself wasn't originally wanting to make. He wanted to just end Outrage with Beyond Outrage, but producers approached him and asked him to make a third Outrage film. So he eventually did. Outrage Coda obviously follows up after Beyond Outrage, taking place after Otomo has been banished to Korea for the events of the previous two films, Otomo, of course, being Takeshi's character. Once again, a conflict breaks out when the Korean gang kills one of the Yakuza members that's over there, and a gang war breaks out between the Koreans and the Yakuza, with Otomo ultimately sneaking back into Japan to help fight this war over there, because Otomo's, like I said, been banished to Korea. Out of the three Outrage films, this one is probably the worst. I still liked this movie a lot, but compared to the previous two films, it's nowhere near as good. It's kind of an anticlimactic ending to the trilogy, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Ultimately, it's still an interesting movie. Otomo himself is actually very hardly in it, and while the first two Outrage movies were ensemble movies, as is this one, Otomo at least had a bigger presence in them than he did in this film. I will also say that out of the three in the trilogy, Beyond Outrage is the best, in my opinion, with the original Outrage being kind of slow. Still good. I mean, most of Takeshi's movies are slow, but the Outrage trilogy is one of the few of his movies that I feel do kind of drag. Beyond Outrage is by far the best. I do still really like these movies. For a while, they were actually my favorite Takeshi movies, but that was before I had seen all of his movies. And I'd still highly recommend seeing Outrage Coda because it does finish off the trilogy. But like I said, it is kind of anticlimactic, and it's nowhere near as good as Beyond Outrage. Nevertheless, it is still a great movie worth watching, and it is currently Takeshi's latest movie at the time of this recording. Overall, it was interesting to see Takeshi do a sequel trilogy, because he has never done that before. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Outrage Coda. It's a decent movie, but overall, it's a disappointing finale to the trilogy. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye, and you have a great rest of the day.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red Eye.